Okay, so next we have to start setting up our ViewModel classes. But let's create our repository class, which is going to be an intermediary between the ViewModel and the API service class. So now let's create our repository class. And for repository class, we're going to be passing in the API service inside of it. Our repository class will be needing the API service. And we are going to be creating a suspend function. Let's call it get drink. And we'll be needing the drink name, which we'll be needing the drink, since the method we'll be calling, which from the API service class dot get drink. Then the second method for the details, get drink detail, and we'll be needing the ID. Okay. Let's okay. We forgot to construct our retrofit library. So to do that, first we need to construct the Moshi library, because the retrofit library will be needing it. So to do that, we called moshi.builder. Moshi.builder dot add our Kotlin adapter factory dot build. So this is how you set up your Moshi converter. Next, we create our retrofit class. Retrofit dot builder dot add converter factory, Moshi converter factory dot create. We create this Moshi. We pass in this Moshi here. Then we add our base URL, which we already created here. We add it. Then we build. So next we create a singleton. Next we're creating a singleton for easily accessing instantiating and easily accessing our API service class. So we are going to call that API we're going to save API service by lazy. Then we are going to have retrofit course. Okay, we just say retrofit dot create. So here we created our Moshi converter. We constructed our retrofit library, and then here we are setting up, we are creating a single thing to access our API service class. Okay, so going back to our repository class, okay, I think we're actually done setting up our repository class. So next we're going to start setting up ViewModel for our detail. Okay, first let's set up the ViewModel for our main fragment. You can call it the main ViewModel. And we are going to be extending the ViewModel class. So in this ViewModel class, we'll be passing in the repository here. Then let's create our private phone, get drinks. A private phone, get drinks. And here we'll be calling the repository. So get drinks detail. And we are going to be passing in alcoholic. When we go back to our API service, we remember that our alcoholic is the query at the end of the URL. So we are going to be copying that and adding it as the value for the query. So what is our error? Our error says suspend function get drink details should be called only from a coroutine or another suspend function. So to get rid of that error, we are going to use what we call the ViewModel scope.launch. So the ViewModel scope is the scope that is attached only to the ViewModel. So once we leave the ViewModel class, it gets destroyed and therefore reduces the risk of memory leaks. We are going to be using the ViewModel scope. But first, we're going to be we need to create a live data that we can observe from our main fragment. So let's create our live data, private var drinks live data equals mutable live data. Lists. We are going to be expecting list of drinks. So we don't need to expose we don't need to allow this live data to be changed. Our mutable live data, we don't need to allow it to be accessible from outside of this ViewModel class. So that's why we're making it private. But at the same time, we need to observe this data. So we're going to be exposing another variable that to make sure that that variable is only used when accessing it from main fragment. So to do that, we have to create okay, let's use this to differentiate it. So we're going to be creating a var drinks live data. This time it's just going to be a live data. It won't be mutable. We call it a list of drinks. So here we are going to be saying drink live data dot value dot drinks. Sorry, we're going to be getting drinks here, not drink details. Okay. So next, I think so. First, we created our main view model class, extending view model. Then we'll be needing this repository class, so we had to manually inject it into our main view model constructor. And then we created the live data which we are going to be observing from the main fragment. And next we assigned the repository, we assigned the drinks we are fetching from the service to the value, the live data value. So here let's just create a constructor and call this get drinks here, so that once the view model is initialized, this method will be called. Okay, we need to pass this in here so we can try to catch errors if they should occur. So here we can say log.d. Can use the main view model class dot simple name. We can say e dot message dot string. So this is just a tag that will let us know where if there is an error, to let us know where the error is coming from. So you are going to be using the e log type, which denotes error. And here we are going to be as well logging the drinks live data value. Okay, let's create this as a tag. Private var tag equals this. Okay, you can call tag here. And we can call drinks live data value. You can call tag here as well. So next, now I think we are ready to set up our main fragment. But before that, we're going to need to create a view model factory. What does this view model factory do for us? Since we have a parameter passed to our main view model constructor, view model factory class will help us to create an instance of this view model. So we are going to be creating a main view model factory, and we are going to be extending the view model provider dot factory. So here we are going to be passing in that our repository, and here we are going to be checking to make sure that it's only the main view model that uses this factory class. We're going to be checking if the model class is assignable from class.java return main view model. Okay. Return the main view model as T, else you should throw an exception. True. If not, you should throw an illegal argument exception on known class. Okay, so what are we doing here? This class is what we are going to be using to initialize our view model. This is a factory class which is used in initializing view models, especially when you have a dependency injected in its constructor. So here we are manually passing this repository into the view model class here, because the main view model needs this repository to fully function. So it's a dependency that this view model requires. But then, since to initialize this main view model, we need to create a factory class for it, which we have created here and constructed. We have created this main view model, passed the repository into the constructor, and then we are checking if that whatever class that is calling it must be assignable from the main view model. If not, it's going to throw an illegal argument exception. So next we have to go into our main fragment. In the main fragment layout, we already have a recycler view. We already have a recycler view to display our data. And in this our main fragment, what we will do now is we create our view model, private var view model, main view model by basic. Then we can say view model provider. This our main view model factory. Our main view model factory, which requires a repository and then an API API service dot get our main view model class.java. So what are we doing here? We are basically initializing our main view model, and to do that we are initializing it by lazy and passing in, and we are using the view model provider to initialize it, and the view model provider requires to know the owner, which you use this, then passing the main view model factory which we created, passing the repository, and then the API service class. So here, the main view model factory, it requires the repository which we have passed in, which we have passed in here, and then the repository itself requires API service which we have passed in here. So next, we are going to be okay. So here we already set up our main adapter, but adapter equals to main adapter binding dot cocktail. This is the recycler view ID. We call the cocktail recycler view. We are going to be using the staggered grid layout manager, and the staggered grid layout manager requires you to tell it how many span count that is going to be using, which is 2. We want 2 grids, and then it's going to be vertical, the orientation. You'll be passing the orientation here as well. Then next we set up the adapter, the recycler view adapter, passing in this. So meanwhile, let's complete the adapter setup, which I think we are not done with yet. So in the adapter, in the view holder, we need to set up the items. Drink dot drink name, binding dot load, drink dot drink term. So what exactly are we doing here? This is the object that we require. The object that we are using, our model object. So we are setting the drink name to this text view, and we are loading. This load method is coming from the core image library. It's going to help us to load the network image. So it's as simple as calling this load method to the image view, calling this load method to the image view, which we have created in the item layout, and then calling set test to the title, which is drink name is the name of the drink which we are calling to. We are calling it, we are setting it to the title. Okay. So I usually prefer having this here. I don't know why. Okay, so next we have to call our holder.bind. So we need to pass in a list here, var drinks private var drinks list of drink. So here we'll be calling drinks, and we'll be passing in position, and next we'll be returning the size of that list, drinks.size. I think so far we are done with this. Okay, going back to our main fragment, we're creating a list here. Private var drinks equals mutable. Okay, private var drinks mutable list of drinks. Okay, so here we are going to be calling our live data from the main from this main view model. So to do that, we are going to be doing view model dot drink live data dot observe this observer. Then we are going to be doing drinks dot add all. So here we are adding these drinks to this, so we can access it from here. So one more thing we need to do is to enable internet here. So for you to be able to connect your app to the internet, you need to enable the permission in your manifest. And to do that, all you need to do is use this permission, Android name, Android internet. It's as simple as that. It seems we are good for now. So let's test our app for the first time and see if it's going to run. So we are running our app right now. I hope that doesn't take time. Okay. Okay. Let's see if we have any error here. Let's see what is happening. Let's check our debug. Okay, seems like our response is fine, but it's not displaying on our app yet. As you can see here, as you can see here, the app is not displaying yet. So let's see what the problem might be. Oh, I actually think I have an idea what the problem is. So let me go back to my, okay, I think the recycler view is not visible. So I've enabled it now. Let's run the app again. Let's run the app again and see what happens. Don't mind these red lines. That's the result of our blue binding. Awesome. Looks like our app is running now. And this is our list of alcoholic cocktails. Coming from the endpoint. Okay, so I think we have successfully fetched our list of cocktail. So next, we are going to be displaying the detail of each cocktail. When we click on each item, we need to go into the detail screen and display the detail of that cocktail.